Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 179 of the High Sensitivity Podcast. And thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as what we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my fellow assassins of the Creed.
Oh, jeez.
That was nice.
My name is Craig. Nothing better than that. Just Craig.
My name is also Craig, also killing people quietly in the middle of the desert.
Now, if you guys like, and I know we are new into this Assassin's Creed, but do you think so far, like, do you guys like Altair, Ezio, or let's see here, what's the third one?
Don't ask me.
Connor?
I've never finished a single one.
Oh, there you go.
I've played
Okay.
every single one, but I've never finished one.
Okay. But what we do finish every week is the news. We finish
Right.
those
Yes.
no matter what.
Yes, we do.
I'll start off with iRacing gets the license for NASCAR, and they will be bringing a NASCAR sim game to PC and to consoles in the coming years here. They are saying about probably 2025 or late 2024, but big for NASCAR, and iRacing is probably really the biggest racing sim out there right now. And the fact that you spent all this money on like an iRacing setup, and now you can not only do regular Formula One and all this other type of racing, you can now add NASCAR into it. It
Mm.
just kind of boosts your level of not really, I guess, your categories or like the stuff you can play with if you're able to do so. Those iRacing setups are not cheap, so now you get one more thing to add to the reason you made a whole iRacing setup.
Is it? I don't know. I guess I know people who like NASCAR. I am not one of them, and like I can understand a lot of racing, but NASCAR I never got because almost every track is identical. Is it not? Except for like there's a couple that aren't, but for the most part they're all just ovals.
You really have to look at it and appreciate the track, Craig.
No,
They're
I
not.
don't. No, I don't.
They're fun events to go to live.
I'll
I
bet.
do enjoy going to them live on TV. I will say, like, it's not the most fun thing. Like, you're right. It is, a lot of them are kind of oval shaped, but it's usually about distance. There are some
Yeah.
road tracks. Um, just the size of the race makes it different depending on how fast or slow or how hard you have to break, things like that.
Fair.
I feel like it would be like baseball for me, where it would be better to be there. I can't watch baseball on TV. I can't watch NASCAR on TV. It just looks like they're going around in a circle. But
That's fair.
If you're looking for something to go to sleep to, it might be a good idea.
Yeah, true.
Just around, another left, like
counting
counting
cars.
sheep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like counting sheep, you just count left turns or count laps.
Yes.
Golf is what puts me to sleep. Watching golf.
I can watch golf.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't watch golf either.
I can watch baseball now with the pitch clock.
Yeah.
Now I find it enjoyable, whereas growing up I hated it. But now I'm like, okay, because it's only like 2.5 hours really for a game now. That's better than it used to be, like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can appreciate it more now.
Now, I know you probably have this, Craig, but Lego announces a partnership with Animal Crossing. We are now getting Animal
Smart.
Crossing Legos.
Smart.
Do you think it has potential to be like, now I know Animal Crossing was pretty much an amalgamation of everything kind of going right, like
Mhm.
during
Yeah.
COVID time for them. So, do you think it has like potential? Do you think a lot of people who like don't usually build Lego but maybe see something like this go, "Oh, I like the Animal Crossing on Switch. I used to play that, and now I can build it in Lego." Do you think it'll be popular?
It depends on how they do it, because if you remember the Mario sets that would build like Mario levels, those did not sell well at all. Because they were kind of like meh. But if they're doing like actual like sets with like maybe the houses or you know what I mean, you could do each character's house. I think those would sell well, because you do. I don't know that I would personally collect them all, but I'm sure Animal Crossing fans would be like, yeah, I have the whole town like built.
Yeah.
I have them all on a shelf or something like that. I think it'll do well.
Yeah, that's a smart partnership. I think it's been enough time since Animal Crossing's, I guess, reemergence or resurgence, however you want to however you want to put it. And you're right, Barry. They had the right things going for them at the same time during COVID to bring it. I mean, I never played an Animal Crossing, but I played that one, when it came out, mostly like everybody else who owned a Switch or was about to
Yeah.
purchase a Switch or fight
Yep.
somebody for a Switch, because that's how Switches were at
Yep.
that time. But it's yet another nice partnership, smart partnership on their behalf.
Yeah, there's also, and it hasn't been confirmed yet as far as I can tell, but apparently Lego is also making another Horizon
Mm,
Forbidden West figure with a tremor tusk being
that'd be cool.
8,000 pieces. Um, I can't say I'm not interested. I don't build Lego,
Barry,
but that would be cool. Those things are cool.
Barry,
Yeah.
are you and I about to have a second Tremor Tusk in the home?
Yeah, it could be a tremor tusk fight. That's what I might have to
Yeah.
do is like have them fight each other.
I mean, that first set, the tall neck, is one of my favorite Lego sets that I have.
And you
Like
know what?
it looks great.
And a tall neck is built or strategically structured to be a Lego. Well, like not
Yeah.
strategically, but structured to be a good Lego, a good looking Lego, a Lego set, because of how, I guess, like how the outer portion of it is, and especially, I don't know what you call them, but it's basically the things that you were climbing to get to the top of the tall necks, like that has to look good, when
Yep.
in Lego form. So
It's a very cool set. I'm 100% interested in it though. I'll probably be buying that day one. Let's be honest.
You have to let me know how much it is. I couldn't find out how much it
What
was.
was
It's
the
from
set piece? How many pieces?
8,000.
oh wow.
Probably $7.99.
Oh, holy hell. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Probably.
guess we'll see. That's going to be
Yeah.
interesting.
Wow.
I'm going to have to take out a mortgage loan for
Yep.
Tremor Tusk. And then lastly for me, this was kind of my what are we coming to in the PC world? Amazon and makers, they've made a sneaker PC case that you can
Mm.
buy for 3,500. It can either come with a 4070 or a 4070 Ti. Now, let me make this clear: you don't wear the shoe. It's
Mhm.
just a PC case in the shape of a shoe. Uh, it's just the weirdest thing I saw this week. I was like, "What?
I'm gonna
What
look this
more?
up.
What more do we need?" Like, our
What?
like PC cases can kind of get wild already, especially in the
Yeah.
PC building market.
Right.
And to hear that you can make it look like a shoe, I guess it still has to look weird, regardless. I did think the design was kind of cool for it, but I was astonished. And they did say that you can pre-order this stuff, and then they will email you. Like, there's no specific time you'll be getting it. It just says that they will email it to
They'll
you.
just-
Like, they'll email it to you once it's being shipped. They'll let you know.
$3,800.
Wow.
Yeah.
i7 4070 Ti for $3,800. 32 gigs of memory, 2 terabytes of storage. I mean, it looks cool. I'm the type of person who doesn't care what my computer looks like though.
Yeah, exactly. It's the
Ah,
same,
okay.
same with
Like
me.
I
The
have
rare breed.
I have a generic black case and it has like a glass on the side, but I really don't care. I like the only lights I have is because my fan came with lights on it.
Yep,
Like
exactly.
I really don't care what it looks like. I guess we are minority though, aren't we, Barry, at this point?
Yeah, for my job, I've been putting together PCs like lately. Apparently, a lot of people are building. Well, I shouldn't say they're building them because I am. And it's just like I don't get it. I really don't get the need to spend $400 on a abstract looking case. Like,
Mhm.
how
Yeah.
many like, and let's be honest, you're a PC gamer. How many people are you having over to like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this PC I built. You're gonna see it for 5 minutes and then nobody cares.
Unless you're a streamer,
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
guess.
thinking. If you're Ninja, if you're
Yeah.
Doctor Disrespect,
Not
if
Yeah,
you're
but
building these for
even
streamers.
them, like you don't see theirs either.
Yeah.
no.
Like
So
and to be fair, like when you're playing a game or like doing something on the computer, you're not looking at your case. Like
right.
you don't just go and look over and be like, "Man, let me spend 10 minutes looking at my computer case." Like no one does that.
You
Like
know what it's for? It's for the 5 seconds that your lights are off as you're walking into a dark room that has your computer. That's when
Yep.
it's cool. When it's
Yep.
the only thing on and the lights are off and you're about to turn the lights on to game. It's for those 5 seconds right there.
That's probably true. Yeah.
I
That's
don't
it.
get it.
I don't get it either.
But good luck to those who want the shoe,
Yeah.
I guess.
It'd be funny. I just
Yeah.
want people having this would be interesting.
Mhm.
But that's all I have for news. I'll let you guys go now.
Okay. Um, Silent Hill Ascension is going to start October 31st. If you don't remember, that is the hybrid TV, I don't know, episode experience. What I thought was interesting is as of right now, it's listed on the Google Play Store. It's not listed on the Apple Store. And it kind of tends to lean towards maybe this is a phone thing and not
Mm,
necessarily a console thing. Still not saying much, but we do have a definitive date, which is Halloween. Kind of makes sense.
yeah.
I do not have a Android phone, so I'm hoping they do something with Apple. I would assume they would, though. Why wouldn't you? Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm a tiny bit interested. Is that fair?
It's fair. I think personally the recent hype of when they announced the collection of Silent Hill projects coming, I think that just hyped me up because I, like most people, are still reeling from the PT that never came to be. It's been years. I
Yep.
will never stop bringing it up. That was one of the things that made me the most sad in video games in the last, at least for a project that didn't come to fruition. So this is like the first of the Silent Hill projects that is coming to be and available. So why not? I mean, unless it's I'm like you, Craig. I don't have an Android phone either. So unless for some reason it is specifically limited to Android, but uh, I'm excited.
Yeah,
But the iPhone is the most powerful gaming console out there. How could you not
It
it's
have it on
true.
that?
It's
it
true.
is. It is. I've learned that recently.
I would assume it's going to be on both. And I'm going to assume that they'll probably do something with console. It would just make sense. Like you can watch it on your console or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. Um, Another one I had here, I thought was kind of this one made me chuckle a little bit. But in the world of wrestling, if you know who Randy Orton is, he has been out of action for a while because of an injury. But it just came out that he paid $1,000 for someone to grind Elden Ring levels for him. I just thought that was kind of funny because it reminded me of, at least for me growing up, where people in school would be like, for me it was like Final Fantasy 7 and 8. They'd be like, "Hey, I'll level up. Give me your memory card. I'll level you up to level 99 for $20." I just had like flashbacks when I saw that, and I just thought it was hilarious that he paid somebody $1,000 just sit there and grind levels.
Was that just for him to enjoy the later part of Elden Ring, or was it to brag, or was it for
I'm
his
assuming he may have
channel?
been. It sounded like he was having trouble with like the bosses, so he's
Yeah,
just
it
like,
was. Yeah,
No, in Elden Ring?
so
He was having trouble in Elden Ring?
his
Oh,
solution was like, I could sit here and grind levels, or I could just pay somebody $1,000, which to a celebrity is probably like 100, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Is like,
Yeah.
oh the woe of being a
Yeah.
celebrity with so much money to
yeah.
grind someone's levels out
Right.
for you in Elden Ring.
Right. But I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like, did you guys didn't have any of that in your like your schools growing up where people would do that kind of stuff for money?
We did in my
Yeah.
school. Yeah.
Not that I remember.
Okay.
But I guess like if you're if and you talk about Final Fantasy, I feel like there was a little bit of a lull in Final Fantasy
Sure.
after and I know you guys love 9, but
Hmm.
like it
Mhm.
didn't really catch on when I was younger until Final Fantasy 10.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was the first PS2 Final Fantasy as well, so that needed to drop as well. So there was probably some years in between.
I remember a little bit, even though I didn't play it around WoW as well. People
That makes
would
sense.
be like, "Oh, I'll level up your character for $50 or something," or a lot of selling their accounts too.
Now,
Like, "Oh,
would
I
it
have a."
be hypothetical? Would it be
Mhm.
different if he told us that he paid someone $1,000 to grind levels for Pokemon for him? Like it's like, Pokemon's too hard
Ooh.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need you to level up my Pokemon.
True. And I didn't like really dig into it, but like, how did he find somebody? Did he go online to like
Craigslist.
Fiverr.
Fiverr maybe? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, definitely Fiverr.
That would make sense, right? And be like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
need somebody to level up my Elden Ring character. I got you, Randy Orton."
I got you, Randy Orton.
I just thought it was funny. I was like, that's one solution for a game you think is too difficult, I guess. Just pay money. Go
Yeah.
back and go back with a level 200 character and just absolutely smack the bosses around.
So, I guess the
Why not?
question because is Elden Ring pay to win now? That is
It is for Randy Orton.
We need a deep dive. We
yep.
Mhm,
need a deep dive, guys.
mhm. Should I do that as well? Should I go back into it and pay somebody to level up for me?
I know.
I feel like you don't even have to be good at the game to do that. Like you just have to
Right.
go to a place where there's probably a ton of like easy people to kill that you can,
Yeah.
kill
Yep.
over and over and over and over and over again. And it's like you probably don't have you don't even have to beat Elden Ring probably in ever to get to those types of spots. You could just be like, oh, I can make money off of this like little loop of
Yeah.
enemies that I continue to kill over and over again.
Right.
Yeah. I forget because it's been such a long time since I beat it, but there are definitely farm areas, and that's probably the easiest G you'll ever make
Mhm.
for just going through the same thing, the same route and killing enemies. So
Yeah, if you don't mind doing the same thing. Like I hate grinding in RPGs. I hate it. So like the idea of sitting in an area for 10 hours and just consistently killing the same people, just no. No, thank you.
you know what? I'm a weirdo, Craig, because I hate grinding in RPGs. I actually find it satisfying grinding in
Okay.
Souls games, and I don't know why. I don't know what
Interesting.
it is. I think it's maybe the fact that there's still like a 60% chance you can die,
Mhm.
you know, so maybe there's the thrill of still being able to die, but I don't know.
It's fair. All right, another thing here, it looks like The Last of Us multiplayer is dead after the recent layoffs. Looks like they're kind of abandoning that, to which I say I don't think anybody was really waiting for it anymore. At least
Yeah.
I get the sense that nobody really cared. I feel like it's something I probably would have tried once and been like, yeah, okay. So when's the next Last of Us coming out?
Yeah, kind of like the Uncharted. Like the
Yeah.
Uncharted multiplayer was fun for what it was worth.
Hmm.
Um, but it wasn't something like Call of Duty where you were constantly playing it. Like I feel like, and I'm gonna hate to say this, but like if you sucked at Call of Duty, you went to that game because it was a
Hmm.
lot more like arcadey,
Hmm.
fun in a way. Whereas Call of Duty tends to take itself really seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
mean, it makes sense, right?
I mean, it does. It's I don't know if it's a weird Naughty Dog move for me because of how much they hyped it up and then found out that they weren't going to do it, but, you know, I I still am far into the idea of playing these multiplayer versions of single player games that you hold so dear. Same thing with the Resident Evil project of like with that similar
Hmm.
vibe. It's like I don't know if I want to go back in as Leon and do multiplayer now. Like, I just I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't even do that mercenary mode in Resident Evil either. I had
Mhm.
no desire. Like, just let me play the single player. That's what I'm here for. To me, it's almost like if they made a multiplayer of like Spider Man, since that's coming out soon. I don't want to
Yeah.
play that. I just want to
No.
play the single player and be done.
Yes, pass.
Yeah,
Pass.
I'm on to the next one. And
Um,
then go ahead.
I was gonna ask if I could build off of your story
Yeah,
though, because like one of the things that I had written down was just in general, if we could talk about all of the layoffs.
it's been a lot.
I We got
Yeah,
Naughty Dog, and they didn't even offer severance to their team, or at least the people that they laid off. Epic Games, 16% of their staff. Telltale Games, laying off their staff in early September. Well, not all of their staff, but a lot of their staff early September. Blizzard laying off the Heathstone staff. This is all like within months like within the last month and a half. So what is going on? I mean, it's
That
like
time of year.
it's crazy though.
cut budgets. Got to
Yep.
got to save money when you can before the holiday season.
It's that fourth quarter's hitting, and they
Yep.
got
Yeah.
to figure out a way to save money. Happens every business, but it does suck. It seems like there's been a lot more in the gaming industry than normal.
Yeah, and like some of the reasons they said like some of the reasons, spanning different companies have been like wrong acquisition or not wrong, recent
Right.
acquisitions or attempts at projects that didn't necessarily fulfill what they were looking at. Like it's I don't know. It's just weird. It's not weird because layoffs happen in every field, but it is sad seeing a bunch of different creative creative development teams having to let go that many people. So
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully everybody can find somewhere else to go. I'm sure there's
yeah.
other gaming companies that you could probably try and go to, but I don't know if it's like everywhere else where it's just hard to find a way in. But yeah, hopefully everybody, if they didn't get Severance, can find something quickly. Last thing I had here, this is good news for the Craigs. I don't know about Barry, but definitely for us. Um, there's a job posting that confirmed we're getting DLC for Liza P.
Ah, yes.
I knew you'd be
Let's
excited.
go.
I got excited as well because I was like, you know
Yes.
what? This might be one of the DLCs I actually play because I have a tendency to not touch DLCs. This could be one of them for sure.
Fantastic. Gonna keep my eye out for that.
As someone who's almost through the game twice, I could use some DLC. That'd be nice. I did put it down though this week. I stopped playing it. I think it's time to move on to other things. But yeah, that's all I had.
It's not a big month or anything, Craig.
No. There's only a couple games coming
out. So I guess besides the layoffs, I don't know why I wrote down news that was that depressing. But the other thing I had was Sony launching Sony Pictures Core.
Yeah.
Available for PS5 and PS4. Basically allows you to stream / buy download a significant number of titles, Sony titles, to have that ability. It's just another streaming branch. Smart on Sony's part in certain aspects. I mean, I sometimes look at an article and I just think about my household and how we wouldn't be using that necessarily, but
Right.
I could see business wise how that's a smart move. The smart move about it is allowing PS Plus premium members to be able to, I think it's like 100 or 200 titles you could stream for free
Did you
at
look
no.
at it?
Yeah, it's like
They're
it's like
terrible.
where was it?
I looked at it and I went, okay. I mean,
Yeah,
there's only
see,
so many Sony movies that have been made, but
yeah.
their best ones
It
aren't
was
on there.
Looper, like
Yeah.
to give an example, Looper. So if you have missed the Looper train, guys, if you have PS Plus premium,
Right.
then set aside 2 hours.
Now, the app has been available on Sony TVs for
Right.
about a couple
Yes, of
years
course.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Buying a Sony TV allowed you to get 6 free movies of your choosing. Uh, what ended up happening with a bit more detail with this is that Sony eventually put out this was their supposed to be their subscription fee service, and I think they realized that one, only having it on Sony TVs very much limits your audience, and
Mm-hmm.
two, it was way too expensive.
Yep.
I kind of find it hard for me to I've only ever bought one movie on there, and that was so I could watch Across the Spider Verse before it came out on physical.
Makes sense.
Um, Really, the benefit of Sony Core is that it's supposed to be like the highest bitrate streaming service available. So, like, what you're getting and what you're streaming is that like really high bitrate, so it's meant to look, very
Right.
good. I really can't confirm if it's really any better than disc. I still think disc is better than streaming pretty much all the time, but only having it on your Sony TV, like, I kind of find it a little odd that I buy a movie and I can only watch it on my TV. Like, I can't watch it on my tablet. I can't watch it on anything else other than a Sony TV.
Right.
So I'm hoping they just start to spread this app out toward tablets, phones, like,
Mhm.
That way at least people who have invested some money into the app, whether it's buying movies or using the 6 free ones you got with a Sony TV, you'd be able to watch them at least. That would at least get people to watch, download your app instead of just using it for one singular purpose.
Right.
I feel like this is also one of the reasons they probably used it to justify that recent price increase that happened lately. Like, okay, we're not just games now; we are movies. That like the movies kind of suck, but
Yep. They could have used it to be like, you know, we did raise the price of PlayStation Plus, but we're going to give you this, and in turn, it's going to give you like, hey, you can stream Gran Turismo when it comes out day one on this, or you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like they're recent ones, but all the recent ones are like they even said they're like, yeah, you can get all these, but you have to still buy them. I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, I can. If I want to buy them digitally, I can buy it through a million other ways, not through this app that I'm never going to use.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
They could have made it cool, but they didn't.
But yeah, that's all I had.
All right, we'll get into games this week then, which
Yeah.
for me, I didn't play any Assassin's Creed, but I did
Uh-oh.
play Detective Pikachu Returns
Okay.
and Fate Samurai Remnant.
Oh, okay. I did play Assassin's Creed Mirage. I went back and played some Armored Core to give it another chance. And then I did play the Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide
I'm
as
glad you
well.
went back. I'm glad you went back to Armored Core. I forgot that game.
I did because I had that space between Assassin's Creed at like the beginning of the week, and I was like, I'm gonna go back and give Armored Core because I think I only played like that first boss the first time I played it. And I was like, all right,
Got
let me
it.
go back to it. But anyway, that's what I played.
So I finished, even though I gave my full take on it last week, I finished Lies of P Thursday night. It was a big day for me. Uh, I also started Lamplighters League
Hmm.
and The Tower at the End of the World. I had to look at my notes because of the long name. And then I also started Detective Pikachu. Probably about two
Dang.
hours in.
All right.
Look at us. We have a wide range
Yeah.
this week. Well
We're all
done,
over the
everyone.
place.
Yeah.
Broketober.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to, where should we start? Do we start on Armored Core, the oldest
I
of
mean,
all
we
of these games?
can. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna write it down, but I did want to write it down to bring up one point on it because we talked about it before. But having played it more, the thing I realized the most is um I enjoy the gameplay. Like I really have gone into like as light as possible with my mech and just like flying around people has been a ton of fun. But I realized this week when I was playing it was I'm spacing out on these like in between mission text dumps that are supposed
Yeah.
to be the
Yep.
story. And I don't like, I feel like I was just mindlessly playing this game. Like, not really like hating it or loving it, just kind of like, okay, there's another mission. Okay, there's that one had a boss. That was fun, I guess. But like at the end of the day, I'm just like, this is a meh game to me. It really feels just meh. Like you could really take or leave that game. Looks pretty. Um, but I don't know. Something about it. I'm just like, I play like 4 missions, which in that game is maybe an hour because the
Yeah.
missions are so short. And I'm like, all right, I think I'm done. It's just one of those games you're like, I'm bored, which is a bummer because I think we were all high on it. But obviously,
Yeah.
we've all fallen off hard because none of us are playing it anymore. I
No.
just wanted to be like, I think I got through like 2 or 3 more bosses. And the bosses are fun. I enjoy them. But like the other, like those random 5-10 minute missions are so dumb.
Yeah.
Like they're so boring. Like what do we I don't know. It just seems they could have done a lot more than they did with this game, I think.
Did you get to the stress test boss that Barry was talking about when he was playing?
Oh, which one is that? I don't remember.
Balfus.
I may not have.
Okay.
Is he tough?
Yeah, so it's kind of on top of like a factory area, and you would know like the first thing he does is just shoot a barrage of rockets. And when I mean a barrage, I'm talking like 60 to 80 rockets at you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think like the last major boss I did was there was one you were fighting with another mech, and then like halfway through the boss fight, he leaves. And he has
Okay,
like
yeah. Yep,
and
yeah,
you're
you're
like
talking about that armored tank thing that you have
yep,
to
and
shoot from behind.
you have
Yep.
to hit it in the back. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And then I did like another one where it was just like a normal mech. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. But I guess I didn't get to that. So maybe I should try that one. Or is it just gonna make me
If you want
mad?
to get angry at the game, sure.
Okay. That's fair.
You
I
know what I
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was gonna
No.
say, you know what I think it is. Like I think when we're approaching from software products, regardless of how much of a hand we put it in, we recognize ambiguity in the story that we kind of have to find through artifacts and things, epic boss fights,
Mm-hmm.
and some type of feeling of dying with a combination of action. I think where this falls short is From Software has certain things in it that are from
Mm-hmm.
and things that are not because of this break that you have in between missions. It bores, and then the story is not necessarily. I mean, that's not. They don't flaunt their story through amazing, long-winded Final Fantasy 16 cutscenes.
Right.
So, like, if the story is not going to engross me, and I'm breaking the one of the best parts of the game, which is the gameplay, every 20 to 40 minutes,
Less than that.
less than that, then I don't
Yep.
have a game that I can't not fall asleep to while wide awake playing.
Yep.
That's I think my issue with the small amount I've played of the game, or at
I
least a
couldn't even
theory on it.
I couldn't even tell you what the story is other than like all these different companies are sending me out on these missions. Like, what are we okay? And then you finish one, they're like, here, now you're part of us. Here's an emblem. All right, here's another company that wants you to go do this. Okay. But where's like this big story or at least something to tie it all together other than resources? Did I get it right?
So after the Balfius boss, you do get like more of an idea of
Okay.
what this game is trying to go for story wise.
Okay.
It doesn't change the fact that the game is still primarily told through these opening dialogue cutscenes and
Yeah.
also dialogue told to you while fighting said enemies, but you're too busy with the explosions and
Yeah.
dodging and stuff and rockets that are going off close to you. So it's really hard
Yeah,
to like pay attention to that and then also try to pay attention to the story.
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a miss. Something's missing from this game, and I don't know what it is. I don't
I
know.
will go ahead and I'll go ahead and talk about Fate Samurai Remnant as this is Barry's anime game of the month.
I
It
gotta
seems
look this
like
up.
um, Fate Samurai Remnant is the first Fate game since Fate Extella Link. I loved that game on Switch. It is
Okay.
such a fun, like Samurai Warriors type game. This game kind of it lessens down like having to fight 50 enemies and like capturing battlegrounds or capturing flags, I guess, in a sense of regular like Dynasty Warriors games. This one tends to like scale that back but focus more on the story of like Holy Grail wars and like masters versus servants. If people don't know, and I won't get too into it, but the Fate series is, you know, sorcerers pair up with historic heroes or villains from mythology, history of past history of past, and this one takes place in Japan where everything is pretty much like samurai, waxing moon sort of sorcery type of deal. And I've been really enjoying the fact that they've kind of scaled down all of the enemies and really focused on the story. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. I didn't expect to like this game this much because I liked Extella Link because it was more about fighting hundreds and thousands of enemies and capturing bases. Where this one is like it's really more about story, and I've been really enjoying the fight for it so far.
It looks
Awesome.
cool from what I'm
It's
seeing.
it's it's being reviewed fairly well. I haven't seen anything from IGN yet, but on Metacritic, it's an open critic. It's like 80s, it's
Okay.
80s, high 70s. So I've been really enjoying that fact that like those types of Dynasty Warriors games or Samurai Warriors games, like
Mm,
it is a niche in that case. But you put a good story together, you can really get anybody into your game. And I've been again really enjoying this one for the fact that it is so much different from it, and it just takes a lot of different aspects of things. Like there are sword stances, like there are in Ghost of Tsushima, that'll
Okay.
help you break down enemies' defenses or unleash special moves and things like that. And as a servant or in a master, you're both fighting together. So there's this element of fighting with fighting with the your servant and staggering enemies and unleashing special moves that I've been enjoying.
what's the
Okay.
name of it called again?
Fate Samurai Remnant.
That's a
Fate
mouthful.
/ Samurai space Remnant.
Reminds me of Dot Hack back in the
Yeah,
day.
I could definitely see that. It's available on Switch and on PS5. Reviews have come out and said that the Switch version is running and it is performance wise a little iffy on it.
Okay.
Like PS5 and PS4, it runs just fine, but on Switch, of course, it's different. But I wanted to be able to play this on the go while I was away from my home this weekend. So
Smart.
I've been enjoying it. While there is frame rate dips, it's not any worse than let's say Game of the Year, Tears of the Kingdom. for example. So
Why'd you say that so
Well,
sarcastic?
I know.
just because everybody's like, oh, the Switch sucks performance wise, it sucks. But then when they talk about Tears of the Kingdom,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, there are performance issues, but Tears of the Kingdom is this great masterpiece that deserves 10 out of 10. That's what I mean.
I like it. I like it. Go after it. Get it out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys mind if I get what I would consider a lesser of the remaining
Yes.
games? I'm going to talk about Lamplighters League.
I played like 10 minutes of this, so I'm curious to see what you think.
Available on Game Pass, guys. That's where I think you should invest in it as of right now. So essentially, this game it's a turn-based strategy game, which is what attracted me to it, being an XCOM fan, giving Marvel, what was the Marvel one that
Midnight Suns.
Midnight Suns a chance,
Mhm.
and for the upcoming Persona Tactica that I'm excited for, Persona 5 Tactica. So I'm a turn guy now, turn-based guy. So it's essentially the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen in like every single or almost every single way in terms of the story. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's like
Oh,
quite
yeah.
a long time ago that game was. But this game is essentially trying to be that game. It's just basically a bunch of ragamuffins, thieves, and all types of low life
Ragamuffins.
That was
I've
awesome.
never heard of that
Ragamuffins.
term.
Yeah,
Is that a
Ga-
word?
yeah, yeah. It is. It's definitely an older word. I'll tell
The
you that.
Ragamuffins.
Yeah,
10 out of
ragamuffins.
10.
It's a cat breed.
It's
What?
Why are we talking about cat breeds with this game? There's no cats in this game.
It's basically Stray. No,
Oh my god. I'm sorry. I don't even know anymore.
I guess I should explain. Ragamuffins is a term that was used by a bunch of aunts and uncles in my family when describing a collection of my cousins and myself or friends and myself. Get you and your ragamuffin gang out of here.
So they called you a bunch of cats.
Yes, apparently.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, I'm
No, I'm
stunned.
glad.
I'm in awe.
I am happy that we took this turn.
Oh man.
But I actually had more fun here than in the game at the moment. It's basically a group of characters collected by a man with money who is seeking a tower. This is as far as I got in the game that holds untold power. There are count them, three enemy factions banded together who are also searching for said tower. And you are trying to stop these three bands from obtaining untold power, or at least power that I have not gotten far enough in the story to know what exists yet. So you could essentially have three agents, as they're called, once they join your squad, and you go on missions on specific set-pieced maps that have enemies that you could either engage in turn-based style combat against them, or you could, in stealth form, try to attack and destroy these groups without even actually doing any turn-based fighting. So there's three types of people. You could either be like a spy based, a bruiser kind of base, or a saboteur. Yeah, they're big in threes.
Three.
And it's about balancing your team and making sure that you utilize their skills effectively. You go on missions where you're either recruiting more members or sabotaging something so that it stops the timer. This is more XCOM for those of you who played XCOM. Each faction has a timer of them getting closer to the tower. If you go on a mission that attacks that specific group, it will lower the timer. But if any of those three timers reach zero, the person has found the tower and you lose, like the game. So it's about balancing who you're attacking, like which faction you're attacking, which again are all working together, but you have to just attack them individually in order to bring it down. Three. And here's where here's what I'll say to make it more to connect more with you guys listening, watching, and the two of you that I am watching and listening to on this podcast. It is more boring sparks of hope in terms of what you can do. It's definitely more boring than XCOM. There's like, I don't know. It's just more boring than those games, which is unfortunate because there is a big enough market where if you're people like me waiting for the next turn-based experience, then you're looking for something. You're like looking for, like, give me it. And it hits in certain senses, but it like really doesn't. So like I'm gonna continue to play literally until Lords of the Fallen comes out this Friday. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. It's harebrained schemes, so I thought I really wanted to because I kind of like them. Um,
Those ragamuffins.
those ragamuffins. But it's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen meets a more boring XCOM slash Sparks of Hope. It could have been better. It's just not going to be, and it has bug issues, multiple.
Hmm.
There's a couple of times where audio was playing where the visuals weren't actually on the screen. I don't know if that was Game Pass or myself or my Xbox or them. I don't know, but it did also crash on me a couple of times as well, which did not help my take.
According to Merriam-Webster, it's a ragged, often disreputable person, especially a poorly clothed, often dirty child. There's your translation. They were calling you dirty children. Now you know.
That's
Or a group of
amazing.
cats.
Or a group of cats. Either or. You get out of here, you ragamuffins.
Nice. Lamplighters League.
That was
Ragamuffins.
yeah. That was there were so many threes there.
Yep.
There
3
was so many
ragamuffins out of
threes.
10.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That was great. That was the best review we've done all year. Right there.
So let's see here. Do we go into? Did you have one more, Craig?
I had
before-
Warhammer.
Yeah.
All right, so Warhammer also dropped on Game Pass this week. Kind of came out of nowhere. Dark Tide. Easiest way to put it is it doesn't look pretty, and which is kind of weird because I know on PC it did look pretty good. On Xbox, I don't think it looks that great. However, it reminds me a lot of playing Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
in
It
the
really
day.
does.
In a good way. And I was like, oh man. And I was playing by myself, but I immediately thought, I was like, you know what? With friends, this might actually be pretty fun. I was enjoying what I was playing. It handles well. It feels good. The guns feel good. You have different like classes, and some of them use like the one I'm using. You can use a gun or a like a mage's staff almost. There's one that's like pretty much strictly melee based. I just think it. I know it reviewed well on PC, and it was supposed to come out on Xbox a while ago, but I do think that with the right people, this could be what we wanted out of like Redfall, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Except it's not open world; it's more like missions, and then you go back to a central hub
That's fine.
where you can kind of like upgrade your stuff and your stats and all that. But like, I think it's a game we could all play and have a good time with. Honestly,
Okay.
that's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. Dark Tide. I will admit it does look dated, especially now
Yeah.
for sure.
Mhm.
Does the Xbox version come with all the DLC?
I don't
that
know.
game is that'll be
Yeah.
the DLC's added a lot in a lot of other classes, so it may if it does add that, then it is a good bang for your buck game.
I think there's only like 4 classes when I started.
Yeah. Okay. So
So
maybe not.
yeah, it might not have the DLC. But anyway, it's a good addition to Game Pass, I think. For sure.
Especially for like four guys trying to get together or play something kind of deal there.
Exactly. To go and be like, oh, we all have Game Pass. Let's pick this up. We're all kind of like, I don't know about you, but like I patrol Game Pass until the next big game comes out, which is what, Forza this week.
Mhm.
So I'm like, oh, what else we got? Oh, I'll try that out. And I did try Lamplighter League, and I was like, yeah, no, this game's not good. And move on to the next one.
It's not.
It's not good. Anyway,
Detective Pikachu then, Craig.
yeah.
So I'm only 2 hours in, maybe. First big case.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only give my take. What I would like to say to start off is I would like to retract anything I said on this platform about me thinking it didn't look good. I remember the footage. I remember not thinking it looked good when they were showing it, but it looks standard Switch kind of game. I'm not unhappy with the visuals, especially considering what I thought I was getting with the visuals. It's LA Noir light
Okay.
with no deaths, which I'm not necessarily. I don't mind that. LA Noire is a masterpiece in what it was able to deliver the public
The game was frustrating.
specifically. It
It was.
was.
It was.
It was. But what we're getting is less of the LA Noire. I could have sworn his face made this. This is why I thought he was the culprit, because sometimes the facials are the facial I guess the way like people were responding to your questions and such in that game did make, because I played that game with my wife and like she saw something different from certain reactions than I did. And here it's not going to be that, which I kind of like. I think it's a perfect handheld game for me as well. The tracks are pretty slamming.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I was nodding my head a lot, and I found myself whistling a track while I went in the kitchen to get more water, which I think is a very big plus.
For sure.
Um, I like it so far. I need to play a little bit more of it to give it like a real take, but I like it so far. I like it thus far. I think there's enough cutscenes. I like the tie-in to, I guess, picking up from Detective Pikachu. Would you say,
Mhm.
is it picking up Detective Pikachu movie, or is there a Detective Pikachu that I missed in the
It's the
gaming
game.
world?
It's the
Okay,
game.
so it did
The
pick up.
3DS game, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. Sorry. I think where I was confused is I saw Detective Pikachu Returns, didn't read a lot about it, and thought that that was them saying it returns looking better. So it was like, it returns. So when I turned the game on, I was like, oh, isn't this
Nope.
nice?
That's funny.
Uh,
Those
overall for me
ragamuffins.
too. Yeah, overall for me too. I agree with many of the statements you have there. I don't know why. I do prefer this like style for Pokemon over like the mainline games. And I don't think you could do this in the mainline games, but I enjoy the art style over this from the mainline games. The only thing that I'll say is like it is a very simple game. You are going to figure out most of who's doing what, why deviously before the characters do, and and that's just kind of the deal. Like it's Pokemon, it's meant to be made easy. Um, which I know reviews have kind of flip flop back and forth, where they don't really like that it's as easy as it is, but Pokemon's always been a children company. Like, yeah, I'm almost 30 years old still playing Pokemon, but that doesn't mean that Detective Pikachu needs to be tailored to my big brain. Uh
Yeah,
of
yeah.
trying to figure out these things. I kind of enjoyed the laid back approach to it, to be honest. Um Having to flip back and forth between some of the menus can be kind of frustrating,
Hmm.
and you may have figured something out, but you still need to do all of like the deductive stuff. That's like crossing stuff out and highlighting things. So it's kind of like, okay, it's it's even kind of a step down from the Ace Attorney games, which is
Hmm.
like if we're going in like kid friendly, it's probably Detective Pikachu, Ace Attorney, and then all the way on the other side is LA Noir.
Yeah.
Um, so I again I enjoyed the laid back portion of things. I do like kind of how easy it is. I don't have to really think too much. If I wanted to think more, I'd be playing Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, games. So that's where I'm kind of at.
You just made me think of with that take, Barry, is like, do we need like a Pokemon structured like Digimon Survive? Like, do we want to get dark with Pokemon? Like when you were saying, like people are like forgetting, like Pokemon is a children's thing, and I think I'm totally with you on that. I think we just do forget that. What are we looking for? Pokemon Survive? Like, you know what I mean? Are we trying to get that dark with
Yeah,
like a Pokemon game? 'Cause I don't know.
True.
I can't say it wouldn't be cool to see them take it in that sense. Digimon Survive was cool in that particular sense. Uh, but Pokemon just makes millions, gajillions more dollars than Digimon does. So why
Yeah,
would they take the risk that Digimon did? Um,
that's true.
and
Yep.
to be honest, I liked Survive. I don't know how well it did commercially. So that would be
It-
where like it can get a little tricky. But
Mhm.
hopefully, like this type of game, just opens up more kids to different types of games. Like Pokemon is big enough in itself to you can like Pokemon, and if you can make a different type of game featuring Pokemon, I think that's a good thing to get people more into different types of games, especially young kids.
That's a
I
good point.
agree. I agree.
Now tell us,
Assassin's
Oh
Craig.
God.
is Balsam
Yeah.
Balsam, is he the
Balsam.
guy?
Balsamic vinegar.
No, I still think the original is the best.
Okay.
What was this Desmond? Was that
Right.
Desmond?
Well, Desmond took control of Altair.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, Desmond and Altair. Yeah.
Man,
I
I
think
still love
like
Altair.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. 1, 2, and 3 were I liked 3. But like I said
Didn't finish
before,
any of them.
I have not finished a single Assassin's Creed, so let's get that out there. I go into every single one every time, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be the one, and it never happens. Um, I will say that, am I going to finish this one? I don't know. Probably not. But I appreciate the condensed version that they're going for. I don't think it's as condensed as they could be. It's not like the original games because there still is that. It's not a huge map, but there is a decent sized map to explore.
Yeah.
What I appreciate is, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I haven't seen this from the original since the original games as much. Was you go in with this is the problem, and then it does like the when you go to like your select menu, it'll be like, all right, here's the problem. Well, I have 2 areas we want you to investigate. Pick one. All right, I'm gonna do this one. Cool. Now this opens up 2 more areas you can investigate, and then once you complete it all, it goes back to this is the guy you need to kill. I haven't I don't remember that since the first couple games. I don't know if they were doing that in Odyssey, were they? Or Valhalla?
I don't think so so much. Like the thing is, in a sense, it wasn't the main deal. In
Okay.
Odyssey and Valhalla, you have to like, and this is my kind of ick about Assassin's Creed lately,
Hmm.
is the fact that it feels like all three games, like there's a whole story, and then
Right.
there's a whole sub thing that you're supposed to be doing, which is killing the Order of the Ancients,
My
Ancients
favorite
of the
part.
Order.
My
Hmm.
favorite
One of
part of that game.
one of the two there, and I know it seems like this game just kind of dives into killing the Order of the
Right.
Ancients, but I don't know. For me, they've now put it in so many games at this point. Like, where is the payoff from killing all
Right.
of the Order of the Ancients? Like,
Right.
and they keep alluding to the fact that you're kind of doing this. You're kind of doing this all like to stop them in present time sort of deal, and I don't know if this is what if it's going to be leaning into that. I haven't played the game yet,
Hmm.
but the Order of the Ancients portion of things, yes, it's
Okay.
kind of like do this, lead back, and then like it was always to identify.
Yep.
You always got clues
Yeah, you're trying to
and do a
figure out
couple
who's in
things. Yeah,
charge, and then
exactly.
you're going to go assassinate them and take them
Yeah.
out. It's just that's what I remember way back in the day. That's what like you're playing the first Assassin's Creed on Xbox, and I'm like, well, I've never. This is such a cool idea. It was nice to kind of go back to that, and they do make it very easy to just do the main thing and not touch anything else. But it's still Ubisoft, and they're still trying to cram stuff in there to do that I don't need them to do. Um, First and foremost, this is a big thing for me, but the intro is so long. Oh
Mm.
my god, is it long?
Like how many
And then
minutes?
I mean hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Intro tutorial session. Like
it's
okay,
so
I got it.
long. But anyway, what I do like is yes, there's the map. Um, and it's not huge, but it's not small. But there's the main city where everything's taking place in. And if you're just doing like the main story, the majority of the stuff that you're doing is in that city. And it you don't really venture out unless you're doing some of the side missions. Um, Again, they throw everything at you. So you got your contracts you can do, you got your side missions. You have a character that wants these specific things that each area has 2 or 3 that you need to pickpocket from random people on the street. There's random places you can go to find better weapons. It does have the uh, upgrade weapons at a blacksmith, which I don't want in an Assassin's Creed game at all. I don't even really need to have upgraded weapons. Just give me a skill tree. I did do like before the game, before I started playing the game, like scrolling through TikTok, everybody's like, "Hey, go to this place, and you can get this like sword at the very beginning that's like insanely overpowered." So you have a sword and a dagger, and I did both of those right away, and now I feel like I'm overpowered for the entire game, which is kind of nice. But I think the game is better for me, better than it's been in the past probably 5, 6, 7 years. It may be different for you guys because you enjoyed Odyssey and Valhalla and all that. This is definitely old style Assassin's Creed. Definitely aimed at that specific genre and people who enjoyed that, which is more me. My only issue is, am I going to beat it? I don't know, because here comes Forza, here comes all these other games like
Yeah.
right behind it. It's probably going to get dropped off, but for now, like, I've been playing a couple hours every day and enjoying it. So like, I can't, it's more than I've been into an Assassin's Creed game in a long time. So that's a definite plus. Is it a game of the year candidate? Not even close. Not even a little bit. For me, it's a good filler until the actual games come out, like Spider-Man and Alan Wake and all
Spider-Man.
that. Yeah. I think, Barry, though, I think you'll probably play through the whole thing and enjoy it. It's not long. It's probably like 30 hours if you do the normal stuff. 25,
Yeah,
30.
like reviews are saying, and it's funny. People asked for them to go back to like
Right.
old Assassin's Creed, and reviews are saying now it's too basic. It's like,
Right.
what do you people want?
Yeah. What do you
You know,
want?
is how I
Black
feel
Flag.
about it.
Oh,
Like,
That's what we
please.
and
want.
the thing is
Yep.
I don't want Black Flag. That's
I
what
do.
that's my thing. It's like I seem to be the only one that doesn't like Black Flag. Maybe it's just
Mm-hmm.
'cause I don't care about the pirate portion of things.
That's fair.
But
It's a good
I'm
game.
excited. Yeah, I
It's a
do
good
plan
game.
on playing it, and I'm excited to start it.
I'm more excited right now to try Forza,
Gotcha.
and that's tomorrow, I think.
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited. And then Spider-Man.
Of course.
Yep.
All right, so we'll get into TV shows and movies for this week. I've watched the first 3 episodes of Castlevania Nocturne, and we had the season finale for Ashoka.
Mhm.
Ahsoka. That's what I watched.
Okay. I did watch. I don't need to talk about it, but I did watch the first episode of Loki season 2, and all I need to say is that I reminded myself how much I love Loki. So that's off to a good start. But I did watch The Equalizer 3 with Denzel. I watched The Nun 2, and then I also watched Totally Killer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Busy guy.
There's so many movies that came out this week that like there's like 6 other ones that I'm trying to get through, but I just haven't yet, including Mission Impossible.
I watched Talk to Me in the new Haunted Mansion, or at least the new Disney Plus streamed Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
Okay, we're kind of pretty evenly killed here,
Mm-hmm.
amongst everything here. I will talk about Ahsoka because
Yeah.
the series that is over. Have you guys finished it?
I'm like 3 episodes behind on that.
I haven't.
Gotcha. I'm biased. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If you're looking for an unbiased opinion, don't come to me.
He's not gonna
Ahsoka,
give it to you.
yeah, Ahsoka is probably one of my favorite Star Wars properties that they've ever released.
Cool.
I really love what they did with Thrawn, and Thrawn is only going to get more important as the series goes on. I really like what they've done with the Rebels crew and like what they've done with Ahsoka. Like everything is cool. There are so many callbacks to Star Wars, like fans that watched Rebels or watched the Clone Wars, and that last episode was just so much fun for me to kind of pick through the stuff that Dave Filoni is kind of adding and maybe teasing for the next season. Thrawn does exactly what I thought he would, exactly planned it how he accordingly did it, and he will be a menace. I don't think he gets enough screen time to like I can't declare him the greatest villain yet to say, but he's played so well, and I really I people keep making fun that he looks like a blue Elon Musk, but
He does kind of.
I don't know, that wore off very quickly on me. I just don't see it. Like I see the actor playing Thrawn more or less than anything else. But Rosario Dawson does an incredible job. I love all the callbacks to the previous stuff, especially the hyperspace with the space whales. I think is one of the coolest things they've done in a long time, and it's just kind of exciting that Star Wars like feels like it's this good again for me. Just because I know a lot of people have not liked it, and I haven't seen people buzz about Star Wars like they used to. There's definitely like some callbacks to a lot of the live action stuff that will get old like Star Wars fans excited. It's just a matter of really I've never seen so much excitement for Star Wars in such a long time, especially considering that everybody seems to hate the newest trilogy, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
I thought they were all right.
No,
Uh,
yeah,
so it's just a
It's pretty
matter
good.
of
Yeah.
like I enjoy the fact that everybody seems to be really liking it.
Would you be on board or against a live action Clone Wars TV series?
I don't think a live action Clone Wars series works just because the story is really told out of order. Like there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of episodes jumping around. I could see a live action Rebels in a
Okay.
way, but
okay,
also like I've been thinking about this lately too. But like I actually kind of prefer the medium of animation. It kind of it allows me to do a bit more escapism
Yeah.
than I think like with live action stuff always having to be so grounded in reality sort of way where for the most part I think you could probably glow up the early seasons of Clone Wars because they don't look very good. But overall, I'd keep Clone Wars the way it is. Whereas if you were going to live action anything, I think Rebels is a much easier time to live action without having to do major rearranging of story bits from Clone Wars.
Fair.
okay.
I got to catch up. I just fell off, and then you know how you get behind on a TV show, and you're like, I'll just wait till it finishes and catch
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Yep.
That's me.
I can't say too much about Castlevania Nocturne yet. I will say part news. It's been renewed for a second season already, which is
Sweet.
fantastic. I know people say it's just Barry and anime sort of thing, but this series is just so good.
Yeah, it is.
I also I never played the Castlevania games when I was younger, and I just know Rickner from Smash. So like it's fun to see his moves
Oh,
in
man.
in you know the TV show setting where I know a lot of people will see it mostly from the Castlevania games. I don't get that, so
It makes
it's
me
nice.
feel old.
It's like,
Sorry guys.
but I mean, that's how I felt about Ike and Marth and Roy with Smash. I didn't play any of those games until recently, so I was so
Fair.
that's how I felt. I was like, oh, look at these guys, they're OP, right?
Yeah, I guess. Just makes me feel like I'm ancient.
But yeah, like for the most part, I'm happy we're getting a second season too. I really like I think I even like the characters in this one more than I did the second one so far. I still need to continue watching it and get to get the entire opinion here, but man, it's gorgeous to look at too. It really helps that I don't know what it is, but like all of the English voice acting, like I don't know why it just feels like it's better sometimes. Where it's the mix of like English voice actors and then also British voice actors. And I
That
don't
was
I don't
very
know
good.
yeah,
That was very
I
good.
was about to say I didn't think it was, so I'm
Sounded
glad
like
I'm
you
glad you
sneezed.
told me. Unless you're just trying to make me feel better.
It sounded like you sneezed. British.
We're on a roll today. God.
It's RagaMuffins, man.
Oh my God, the RagaMuffins. If the name of this episode isn't RagaMuffins, we're doing something wrong.
Noted.
Yep. I know what I'm making a TikTok short out of this week. RagaMuffins.
Discovering what RagaMuffins are.
Discovering.
Okay.
Oh, man.
All right, I'll run through mine, I guess. The Nun 2. More of the. Do we even call it the Conjuring universe anymore? I guess we do.
Yeah, we do.
Technically. I had to go back and watch, like last week, I watched the original Nun movie. Not like The Conjuring, but The Nun. And I forgot how bad that movie is. It's pretty bad. This one's quite a bit better. It's still not on par with, like, for me, with the Conjuring movies, but I enjoy the character of the nun and like that demon. I enjoy it. So
Yeah,
seeing more of that is always good. I think everybody did well acting. Like it just felt like a more intense horror movie than the first Nun did. Has some good jump scares. The lady who plays the nun is phenomenal. She just has that face. It's just like, man, she kills it. But it's like I don't know. This is like at the end of the day, it's like a middle of the road horror movie for me. It's not something that I'm like, oh my God, I need to watch that every year or every couple months. Probably not. It's not going to go on your 31 days list, but it's worth watching at least once if you're into the whole Conjuring universe. There's a nice little nod at the end to the Conjuring movies, which I enjoyed, kind of tying it all together. Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington. I wanted to see this one in theaters, and then I just forgot. That's usually how it works. I love this series so much. The Equalizer is so cool. Denzel, no matter how old he gets, is still such a badass that like anything he's in, I'm like, I'm in. I'm just gonna watch you kill a bunch of people. I just enjoy like the story of the Equalizer is so good because it's just like leave me alone, and he's just consistently not left alone, and then he has to go and kill everybody just to be left alone. I'm like, that's like to me, that's like a get off my lawn type of
That's a
deal.
mood. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
mood.
Right. And every movie has been that way pretty much. And it's just more of like, there's a specific reason it takes place in Italy. There's a specific reason he's over there to start with, but it all boils down to he finds a small town in Italy that he really enjoys, and the mob kind of pushes their way in, and he has the whole like just leave. Like he literally has a scene where he's talking to them and being like, just leave the town alone, and of course they don't. So he just goes and kills everybody. They're great movies. If you haven't seen any of them, I highly recommend watching all three of them. um they're like in my household, it's one of our favorite series. So I don't know if they make any more because he is getting pretty old.
He's getting up there,
um
definitely.
but if they want to make more, I'll be there 100%. I should have saw it in theaters, but I did not. And then the last one, Totally Killer, came out on Amazon Prime this week, and I've had my eye on this one for a little bit. This one is going to end up on my 31 movies for Halloween every year for
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
The easiest way to describe this movie, it is a horror comedy, but if you took Scream and that whole aspect of like there's a killer in a mask with a knife and he stabs people 16 times, and he's going around killing people, and you're trying to figure out who in the town has done it, but then take that part of Scream and then over here take Back to the Future and combine the two, and that's what you get.
Ooh.
There is like, all right, there was 3 girls that got killed in the 80s by this killer. One of the girls survives, and she is now a mom and has a daughter. The killer comes back, and there is the daughter ends up going back into the 80s in a time machine made out of a photo booth. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it's her back in time working with her mom, who was then in high school, to figure out who the killer is. It's absolutely incredible. I love this movie so much. Barry, watch this movie. I think you'll enjoy it. It's absolutely hilarious. I'm
What's the
telling you,
ju-
just watch it. It's a
what's
good.
the what's the jump scare count so we can get
There
Barry
isn't
ready?
any. There isn't any.
Ooh,
No,
very zero jump scares.
there's no jump scares in this.
No, I'm just trying to figure out. So instead of she goes back in time to work with her mom, who's in high school.
In the 80s.
So she like a high school mom
This is like
kind of
Dark.
deal there.
Okay, so all right,
It's
so
like
the
Dark.
easiest way for me to explain it is the movie starts in its present time, right?
Yeah. I
So
get
back
that.
in the 80s, there was a killer who killed 3 girls in high school.
Uh huh.
Her mom was friends with all of them, but her mom did not die in the 80s.
Got it.
So
Okay.
in present time, she is an adult and she has this daughter who is in high school. In present time, this killer comes back
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
to kill her. So her daughter ends up going back in time because to save her mom, because in the present her mom gets killed at the beginning of the movie. Not really
Gotcha.
a
Okay.
spoiler, it's setting
Mm,
up the movie, right? Her
yeah.
mom dies, so she's like, all right, my friend is working on a time machine for the science fair. That's literally what it is.
We all have
And
that friend.
correct. And they can't get it working, but through certain instances, it works. Sends her back to the 80s where she is, working with the girls who got killed and her mom, who was a teenager in the 80s. And she, they're like, oh, if I stop the killer here, it saves my mom in the present type of deal. That whole Back to the Future thing. There's like, I'm watching it and I was like, it'd be really cool if there was like a photo of her daughter in the present day in the 80s, and then as she's solving or not solving, she starts to slowly disappear like in Back to the Future. And right as I said that, they made a joke about it in the movie where they're like, this isn't Back to the Future, that's not what happens. And I was like,
Yeah.
they were thinking what I was thinking, but it's
Uh,
extremely funny. It's the perfect Halloween movie for people who don't like horror movies, right? Like It has that serial
Barry.
killer. Yeah, I was thinking of you as I was watching. I was like, this is the perfect
This is
movie
a
that I'd
Barry
be like,
film.
this is yeah, and I
I'll
love it. I
watch it.
think it's hilarious. It's on Amazon Prime. It's incredible. So check that out for sure. But now I need to know how you feel about those two movies, Craig, because I liked both of them a lot.
Okay, I'll start with Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
It's about a haunted mansion. Uh, but for real, it's a fun one. They stacked. This is the Ocean's 11 of a cast, essentially, and I think that's what brought a lot to it. Um, Owen Wilson in particular was very funny to me in this one. I really enjoyed Owen Wilson's specific, aloof, but like self-aware humor. Um, I I think that without being too technical, and I approached the movie trying not to be too technical. I just wanted to have fun
Mhm.
with a haunted mansion movie. My wife was actually more excited to watch it than I was. I was still excited, but she was more. It was fun. There was a lot of different non-scary. Another movie you can watch, Barry. It's not scary at all. I mean,
Oh, really? I would have never guessed.
yeah. As you guys probably saw in the trailer, if you were watching the trailer, it was a fun take on it. I enjoyed the fact that everybody who was involved in trying to stop the diabolical spirit, the main diabolical spirit, had a situation where they left the house for some reason because they were like, "Man, I'm not staying here." And then they had to come back because they realized that they were haunted wherever they went to. So
Yep.
that's what brought the band together for the most part, is that everybody who stepped put in the house left for some reason, or at least 95% of them, and then came back because they were like, I went home and I went to bed and the same ghosts were here. So um the only thing, and tell me, Craig, if you feel this way, this will be the only negative thing I have to say about it. Did it feel too long to you?
A little bit.
It's over 2 hours.
They could have condensed it to an hour and a half, probably.
It's my only gripe with it. I think it's
Mhm.
fun. I think it's definitely a watch with friends kind of movie.
Yeah.
I guess you can enjoy it by yourself, but I had more fun watching it with my wife, where we could laugh at things and then like laugh at like the fact that we're laughing at things. So I think it's overall great. Um, Jamie Lee Curtis, wow.
Great.
I I
Yeah.
there were so many people that I knew were going to be in the movie that I forgot that certain people were going to be in the movie. Jared Leto, Jamie
Yep.
Lee Curtis were the two. And then I was like, "Oh, snap, that's nice." Like, but I thought she did a great job. I never have anything negative to say about Jamie Lee Curtis ever in her career, but
Mhm.
definitely enjoyed seeing her in that as well. Recommend a watch. And the second movie on this in this particular episode that you could definitely watch if you're not a fan of horror movies, or the
Yep.
horror in horror movies, or getting scared. The other one though, talk to me. Whew. I thought I thought that I was going to get scared more in it. There are less scary parts. Um, what I did thoroughly enjoy about it is the classic, like, high school or middle school, they find something that's an artifact that they shouldn't play around with. They play around with it and now they're haunted. And the best part of the movie, top
He's
two parts of the movie,
getting into it now.
Yep.
is the first part when they're playing around with the hand. A lot of
Yep.
the stuff you see in the trailer.
Yep.
Now, for me, I think it slowed down and then sped up, slowed down and then sped up. Um, I really enjoyed it. I think it was slightly different than what I thought it was going to be in terms of the amount of times that they were going to say, "Hey, Craig, here's something," you
Yeah.
know, "Ooh, put your hand in front of your face as you're watching."
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
not as much as that.
there's not as much of that, and like that doesn't take away from the movie. I'm just explaining. I guess I'm just saying what I thought differently going into it. Is I thought there were going to be multiple ghost jump scares where they had kind of like a smile thing going, but in any case, it ended up being more psychological. And the main character I didn't like. Are you supposed to not like her?
Yeah, she's not great.
Okay, so you're supposed to
Yeah.
not like her for the choices she makes.
She's an idiot. Yeah.
And like this is like me trying not to spoil anything because this is a relatively new movie and a new on physical media movie because I got it
Right.
on Tuesday.
Same.
Um, I'm gonna say it is one of my favorite horror movies of the year. I'm gonna say it gave me High Tension vibes. If you've seen High Tension,
Yep.
um, with a little bit of what's the one with Robert De Niro? Hide and Seek.
Oh,
It's that section where it's like, is this reality or is it not?
yep. You're
And
not
that is a
sure.
very effective, scary or horror or psychologically terrifying movie tactic. So, I liked the ending, and I can't say that for every scary movie I've ever watched. I liked it. I thought it was fulfilling enough
Mhm.
with a slight ajar door for a second one
That they've already started filming.
that they've already started filming.
Yep.
Yeah. Was that you that confirmed that later on? Was that
Yeah.
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 I think that was like maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago you maybe said
It
that.
was right after the movie came out in theaters. They were like, "Yeah, we
Mhm.
already started filming." I'm like, "Oh, perfect."
So I'm interested to see how they'll tie it in.
Mhm.
But a recommended watch, definitely. I would say this is a at least spend on Prime or whatever your streaming services of choice to purchase renting it at least. I
Yep.
went ahead and bought it. I will say I am glad I didn't buy the collector's edition.
Same. I don't like
It
buying
just
movie collector's editions. It seems silly.
yeah.
Pay like $100 for a movie. I ain't gonna do that. Not
I
gonna
think
happen.
there's just one
Very
scary
well.
movie a year. I think there's just one scary movie a year that I want to like that much. And
Yeah.
I thought it was this movie. It's not collector's edition,
This
which
is
I
my
think is
favorite horror movie this year.
See,
yes, that I would also concur.
yeah,
Mhm.
my issue is like I went ahead and bought the collector's edition of Across the Spider-Verse
Mhm.
that comes with the first movie, the second movie, and like a 3D like sort of film thing. You saw it, I know you did.
Yep. And
Um,
his journal, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's the one you bought.
um,
I
yeah.
almost bought it.
Oh, okay, I don't feel so bad anymore then. All right, so
No,
yeah,
but I was like, you know what? I already have both these movies on 4K.
yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, that's a cool collector's edition for sure. I don't
okay,
blame you for buying that one at all.
cool. All right, I'm
Oh,
glad.
all right.
That's a good purchase,
Woof,
honestly.
Barry,
woof.
You can
Barry
sleep
writes that.
tonight.
Yeah,
Barry will write that down in the journal later.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
Barry's-
I'm off the hook. Good purchase.
We're gonna go ahead and end here. Then I do appreciate everybody for listening and supporting the podcast as much as they have. If you're listening on your podcast listening platform of choice, please make sure to review us, share it with a friend if you feel so inclined. I would add a comment from the YouTube section here, but I don't have one, so we're gonna skip that. If you would like and share the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel, again, I appreciate it. You know, we get more views on there than anywhere else. So yeah, I think that's it. I think I covered all my bases there. Trying to remember, my brain's a little hazy. Yeah, I think we'll see you guys next time.
I
Bye.
think I,
We'll see you later, you bunch of
I-
ragamuffins.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the new RagaMuffins term will now be in all of the episodes going forward.
There's the outro.